Sponsored by DCP Player, a simple way to view a DCP on any Windows-based PC. Hello CinemaTechGeeks, it's that time of year again. It's time for CinemaCon, or what used to be called Showest. It's been a great year for CinemaCon, for the industry in general. There's been some very interesting news in the cinema technology front. Firstly, let me go over those very quickly. The two things I mainly took away from CinemaCon this year, and that I thought was the most interesting points to mention in this introduction video for most of the videos I'll be putting up on the CineTechGeek feed, is that one, this year there was a bit of talk about when the US would stop producing film. One of the heads of NATO mentioned 2013, which everyone thought was a bit early. And for example, Michael Karagoshian, a well-known digital cinema consultant, mentioned 2018. Now, I think it'll be somewhere in the middle there. My guesstimate is more in the world, is 2015. Now, there's also been a bit of talk on how that will affect the rest of the world when they'll move to film. It's quite a bit of a topic there in terms of if the US stops making film, how will that make film go up around the rest of the world due to the fact that the economy of scale, etc., and how that's going to affect. But that's the news, and the fact that it's not just that film will end, it's now we have a date. It's going to be between 2013 and 2018. So if you're not digital by that time, well, you're not really, in the US especially, you're not going to be in exhibition anymore. So that's a very interesting, I found that very interesting at the show. And secondly, of course, this year was a really good year. James Cameron, George Lucas, Jeffrey Katzenberg was on stage discussing the future of film and production. It was a very good video. I've got that whole video. It'll be coming on the feed when I get it edited down, so everyone can see. So I very encourage you to have a look at that, especially if you're into filmmaking. He has some very interesting things to say, especially about 3D, of course, because James is mainly about 3D. And of course, George Lucas and Jeffrey Katzenberg were there to say that they're very much into 3D and the 60 frame a second, the innovation. That's the other thing that this year was a bit of talk about, is that now we are digital. People are starting to talk about innovation. The DCI systems at the moment, apart from 3D, even the 3D systems are very similar to what we've done in the past in exhibition. We've all done sort of 3D before and different bits and pieces. We've got 24 frames a second film equivalent now and digital on the screen. But what can we do beyond that now? How can we make that better? Is there any way we can innovate and make, a bit of talk about that, different frame rates, 48, 60 frames, and 3D or 2D. I've already talked about that in some of my previous videos, because I think that's probably, there's some innovation there that can be done cost effectively, and that in a cinema it will give you some value add. I did see the actual James Cameron demonstration of 60 frames 3D, and I was very impressed. So for example, at the show there was quite a bit of talk. Of course, this was the year of 4K, and the TI is very strong in the exhibition and the DCI market. And TI, Sony of course have had their 4K for a while now, but TI has theirs now. So 4K is pretty much that's the top of the top tier, and you can get it in TI or Sony now, whatever sort of vendor you're going with. And the interesting aspect there is that I had a few people who went out and saw that, and as there was a video done by Barco Supported One that they mentioned, one of the Barco engineers mentioned that only 20% of the screens really will need 4K. And I also got some feedback from quite a few people that said they couldn't really see the difference between 4K and 2K, and that was a general perception from a lot of people. So 4K is fantastic. It's here. There are a number of theaters which will need it, but it's not a ground it's not a ground moving event and rushing forward. But when these same people saw the 60 frame a second 3D dual projector system demo by James Cameron, now that was, man, that looked impressive. I was there, I saw it, I was very impressed with the what we could see on screen. Even James Cameron himself mentioned that 3D has had a little bit of, as he quote him saying that 3D has had some pushback, and when you see the difference between what we currently have and the sort of results that he wanted on screen, with better brightness, more frames a second, no motion artifacts, more realistic, 3D is about as being as accurate as possible so your brain can deal with it as best as possible, and so you're not getting headaches, etc. It's something that those who saw it, were very interested in and wanted to know how that was going to affect them in the future. So we'll have those videos coming up. I'll try and put a video together to discuss what I saw at that demonstration. Unfortunately, we weren't allowed to record it. I'm going to try and get some data from James Cameron about the demo and some of the demo content, and see if I can put it on the feed and explain it a bit more, and make it so you can actually see it, because it is very interesting to see. Someone's actually gone out and shot 60 frames a second properly. So that's coming in the video, in my videos for CinemaCon this year. Now, just quickly, I wanted to also go over the fact that unfortunately I haven't been able to make too many videos this year. This is a labour of love. I don't make any money out of it. I do it because I believe in the industry and wanted to help move this industry forward with digital and make it as easy as possible, as painless as possible. Is more what I intended. I've been busy with a few projects, mainly this DCN is an integrated in Australia. Went through a few problems with the VPF, but that looks like it's been all sorted out, and that'll be on track again. And so my time should free up, and hopefully during this year I'll be able to do more videos. And secondly, I wanted to mention that these videos are sponsored by Digital. That's one of my companies that develops software and intellectual property for the cinema industry, DCI and non-DCI sort of technologies. So please have a look at our website if you're interested in that sort of stuff. I'd love for you to contact. That's the only reason I get time and are able to make these videos, because flying to the US from Australia and spending all this time, of course, it's quite a large effort, and I'd appreciate any sort of if you could have a look at our other the other businesses I work in, to help me pay for all this time that I spend on it. But yes, enjoy the videos coming up. There's a lot of really good content this year. Not just that, there's some other videos from venues talking about how to keep your systems up and reliable. That's really good stuff too. So James Cameron, man, it's been a really good year at CinemaCon and at Caesars Palace. Fantastic new, very large venue. Some really amazing pictures around the pool I got of the end of the party at the end. So enjoy yourself, and yes, that's James Gardner from CineTechGeek at CinemaCon in 2011. Bye for now.